welcome. We have proved beyond any reasonable doubt using history, science, our own sages, and psychology and common sense that the human brain, the human mind, our normal thinking, anything that we can derive whether in abstract thinking or creativity is severely limited and can never be used to comprehend the real creator who is unknowable, who is not a spirit, who is not a being. Now, how is it possible for us to then say with the same tools that we are saying are defective, anyone is able to validate this truism? To answer this question, perhaps it is clear we do need a new kind of faith. Welcome to Hamiti Buru Ethics. Subscribe to our channel and let us walk this journey together. You can subscribe and also you can enroll into our Bantu Foundations. When we speak of faith as a tool that we can use to understand reality and also to go beyond infinity, to help us materialize this idea that the real creator is beyond any concept or any explanation or description that any human being can do, we look at the trends of faith in the last 220 years. It's going down. And around 1980s, it was almost zero. So, when we look at faith and belief as representing that which we want to use, we look into our own African languages. We find that that word is there. In Swahili, it's called imani, trust, a belief, or faith. In Yoruba, it's igbagbo, faith, belief, or trust. In Zulu, it's ukolwa, faith, belief, especially in a spiritual sense. In the Igbo, it's nkwenye, trust, or faith. In Chikaranga or Shona, kuvimba, belief, or trust. We know that this word faith is derived from the Greek word pistis, or Latin fides or fides, usually translated as faith, but sometimes best translated as trust or trustworthy. So it's a formula that we need to be trustworthy. So we've got the Twi or Akan, Gidi, faith or a strong belief. Also in the Hausa, it's imani. So this word imani is actually a secondary derivated word from the Arabic due to Islamic influence. In the Amharic, it's imnet, faith or belief, especially in a religious context. In the Somali, it's fideo, similar to fides, but not really similar, but sounds like. Often used in religious context, it's faith. In the Wolof, it's younu, yokute, path of faith. Now that's a process of faith, not a noun. A belief emphasizing growth and a trust. And then when you go to the Xhosa and the Swati, it's ukolo or lukolo. But there are a number of types of faith that we want to deal with and to share. A reverent faith, which is totally blind faith. You find it in Hebrews 11 verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So we don't want this kind of faith where you have a leap of faith. We want a responsive faith to start with here, which is active faith, which is actually based on a universal truism repeated in James 2:17. Faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. So we want to rediscover a new kind of old faith, the oldest type of faith. Faith suffers, these other kinds of faith other than this oldest faith suffers from a problem or problems of doubt. And the doubt originates from uncertainty. Uncertainty, which is the mother of doubt, which destroys faith, is fueled by incomplete knowledge when we don't have all the facts or cannot confirm them. So we want to confirm this fact today. It's also created by conflict. When new information challenges existing beliefs or experiences, we normally shuttle it away. Also, doubt is created by fear. When the stakes are too high and uncertainty triggers anxiety and a feeling of failure, then we have doubt in the system. Then complexity, when situations are too intricate to fully understand or predict, then doubt comes in and the faith has problem. But this old kind of faith does not suffer. It is the one that we are going to use to prove that though the human brain is severely limited, it can go beyond and show you and prove to you that, honestly speaking, there is the real creator who is nameless. Now, responsive faith is active faith. It works for everybody. So this old type of faith that we are going to discuss today is responsive. Therefore, any new kind of faith we are looking for, even in the face of doubt, it will work. It doesn't depend with doubt. Once you understand it, that's it, it will work. So therefore, it refers to systems or principles that work effectively regardless of the user's personal beliefs. So this kind of faith, the only difficulty or aspect that might not be comfortable to a lot of people is that it is not based on a race, whether it's believed by black people, Europeans, Asians. Once they grasp the principles, then this kind of old faith, which is new faith today for many people, will work. I will give an example here of Steve Jobs, who was a Buddhist thinker. He invented the Apple phone, in which you don't have to believe in Buddhism or to believe in him. All you need to do is to use his phone. So this kind of faith that this phone will work is the one that we are going to illustrate today. It's practical. It can be found in inventions, in actions grounded in proven methods, can operate independently of the beliefs of those who use them. And this kind of faith, in this sense, is about applying the principles that are reliable and that yield results, that transcend individual ideologies or spiritual conviction. So this is a new kind of old faith that we are exploring today in order for us to justify that the human brain cannot understand or comprehend fully the creator, the unknowable creator, yet the unknowable creator is there. We need this faith. Yes, we need this kind of faith, because without this kind of faith, we will not be able to connect to the boundless potential of the waters of Unyunyu or the quantum field of all possibilities. By this smallest amount of faith or realization, we have got a solution because of this old faith. Yes, it will work. It works wonders. This new kind of faith, which is old faith, is fascinating because you can also look at the cutting edge of science which is going ahead. The observations of quantum mechanics suggest that the human mind is limited. This we know. We want to prove using quantum science. Now, quantum science proves this without breaking any physical laws, but leveraging the principles of observation, of focus, interconnectedness, and the inherent qualities of a quantum at the quantum level, which is the quantum field. Now we'll test using our own systems of animism, which is also the oldest belief system ever found on the earth. So let's use the observer effect and a focus, where we understand that when we observe anything, this is a quantum reality or a quantum statement. So when we observe anything as an observer, through our one-pointed focus, our mind radiates a certain subtle energy, which ultimately forms energy into matter, and this is how our mind creates realities. When we look at animism, traditional belief, which is the oldest, it says that all things, whether animals, plants, rocks, rivers, and even objects, possess a spirit or a consciousness. And this takes on a fascinating dimension when we view it through the lens of quantum science and the observer effect. This is where the old faith comes handy, because the observer effect in animism means you connect with the spiritual world through rituals, and that which you focus on materializes and grows. So this is observer effect. Also, when you look at quantum effect, it means that using this focus, you are collapsing the wave of in the quantum field into a single reality. So this resonates with our animistic principles, where we do rituals, where we do our focus, where we speak with the trees, rocks, mountains, rivers, animals. And when we do that in our rituals, libations, ancestral realities, and everything else, we are bringing possibilities of manifestation to the surface. So therefore, we have proved effect here. So let's expand a little bit with on this issue of focus and visualization. Even with our severely limited brain, this new kind of old faith, when we use visualization, the power of visualization, which we can do, you close your eyes and you visualize specific outcomes that you want: success, health, creative solution, happiness, will easily become a real potential within you. And then when you keep visualizing, you are boosting your focus and concentration, and eventually you are influencing that which is found, that energy of happiness, to start to synchronize with your visualization. And then you are actually arousing yourself to influence through that action, through that decision to perform those actions, to shape your reality. So you don't need as much faith as possible here. You need that old kind of faith. The second aspect that we want to consider here has a lot to do with ancestral veneration and divinity interaction. This new kind of old faith means that we interact with the unseen worlds with the smallest amount of faith, even with our human brain, mind, and intuition that are severely limited and can never comprehend the unknowable, who is not a spirit or a being, a nameless creator. We use our traditions, just like what our ancestors used to do, to talk to their ancestors. Same in quantum principles, which are related or which have taught and revealed non-locality and a remote influence. So it's up to you. In quantum mechanics, particles can influence one another instantaneously across vast distances, suggesting an underlying interconnectedness that transcends space and time. So through that, we know what is known as spooky action at a distance. So ancestor action at a distance, that's clear. It's quantum entanglement. It's very, very clear. It can be proved, and you can prove it today. You don't need to go to university. So we have bridged the concepts of ancestor reality as non-local entities. That our ancestors are alive, they are living, they are well. All you need is to know that they are operating at a certain frequency, and you all need to align to those frequencies. Just like in quantum ideas, that reality exists in layers or quantum fields beyond direct perception. So you need to do a harmonization here. So both in quantum physics and animism, we see that the act of focus, the act of talking to your ancestors, the act of knowing that they are alive is a mechanism that brings this unseen realm into your current focus. So we have just touched on very few parallels that show that ancient animistic practices intuitively now are being captured and proved by elements of universal principles that quantum science is now beginning to explore and share with a lot of people. This perspective does not allow us to continue, because the two examples that we have given are solid proofs of how our ancestors used their mystic systems, which you can learn to go deeper. But now a lot of us have abandoned these systems, and we have fallen to the lowest rung of humanity. So once you understand that quantum and animism are similar, then you are on the home turf, and you are almost about to discover that old faith that we are advocating here. But we cannot continue to give examples in this video. If you are interested in learning these principles, enroll into our Bantu University and study Bantu Foundations. And once you finish Bantu Foundations, you can now go on to study Afro Mysteries, where we compare the connections more and more. Like when you go into it seriously, the principles of wave particle duality, quantum superposition, quantum entanglement, the observer effect, quantum tunneling, Heisenberg uncertainty principles, quantization of energy, quantum decoherence, spin and Pauli exclusion principle, Casimir effect, quantum field theory, which we all the waters of Nyunyu, right? Quantum electrodynamics, which are the waves, Masai or a lot of that, Bose-Einstein condensation. These, you go deeper with us when you enroll and study band foundations. We've done a lot of work, but we can't share a lot of it here in this video. For those that doubt that quantum physics doesn't work, it is the one area that has given us lasers, semiconductors, quantum computers, MRI machines, and GPS systems, and everything that you have today going AI comes from quantum theories. So it works. In order for us to conclude this matter, we have to ask a question that is very, very important. This new kind of old faith, if we may ask, if the best scenario possible should give us minimum faith without our effort. And it must awaken our potential even though we have limited capacity in our brain. But we need to simply understand that it must connect us to the quantum field or the waters of Nyunyu. How best can we do that? What can we know and what can we acknowledge? It is the primordial gods. So only 2 primordial gods are going to be shared here. That will boost our. That's why we never taught faith. Our ancestors never taught about faith. They just practiced their traditions, which we now discover similar to quantum mechanics, quantum physics, quantum science. So Mahati is fate. Meets the criterion of what we are seeking under the severe constraints of our physical bodies and limited brain to take us beyond to the waters of Nyunyu, right to understand the unknowable real creator, why and how. Mahati's faith is a more nuanced and comprehensive form of faith or belief, which our ancient African mystics, when they discovered or when they were trained and taught that these were self-generated deities or gods out of the waters of Nyunyu, out of the quantum soup, they are to be balanced together, because Mahati represents the core principles of truth, justice, and cosmic order. And the Isfet embodies chaos, disorder, and the forces that oppose Mahati. So when you balance the two in good proportion, you have already activated this new kind of faith. And the kingdom of heaven that is within you starts to work and manifest. And then you will start to know and understand that, of course, the unknowable, of course, the one who is nameless, of course, the one who is neither a spirit or a being, just like quantum physics, quantum mechanics have proved that the human mind is fundamentally limited, but there is a quantum level or a quantum field where these massless waves operates. Then you have discovered that old faith we are talking about. Of course, today and tomorrow, you need to study these subjects. You need to enroll into Afro mysteries. But as we have already indicated, subscribe to our channel, share our videos, leave a comment, and study band foundations and go into Afro mystery systems. Very powerful, very enjoyable, very enthralling. It is your subject. So I'm Hamanager to be preacher by LM saying, let's meet again. And remember, you need to discover and to practice a new kind of old faith. Amen.